Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. Now, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders accountable, we ask that you subscribe to our social media platforms. We are currently streaming this live episode feed on all of our social media platforms. We could be found under Frankie Olivo on X, formerly known as Twitter. Also on Facebook. Also, we are streaming this program on YouTube on our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Currently, right now, we are at 750 subscribers on YouTube. The goal for our program is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Remember, Brownsville, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. Well, it depends what you're making. All I ask, ladies and gentlemen, is for you to subscribe to our social media platforms and support the cause. Remember, subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV because Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms, in particular to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube. We will not be silenced. And always remember, I am forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you have provided us as of late. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. Back to reality, it seems. Summer has slowly drifted away. I hope each and every one of you were able to travel, were able to go out in the sun and enjoy yourselves. The reality is that we live in a rat race and we need to relieve some steam. We need to recharge our batteries. Our students will be going back into the classrooms next week, August the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. We have teachers already back in the classroom working hard to get ready for this 2025-26 school year. So reality, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, is back. We have a great, interesting week set up for you. We have an immigration attorney that will be with us on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Usually our program comes on at 9, but, we do make exceptions for individuals who ask us to, move it for them. So if you have any immigration questions, si tienen cualquier pregunta concerniente a inmigración, tenemos a un abogado que va a estar aquí entre nosotros y va a poder contestarle las preguntas, hablar un poco más de lo que está sucediendo ahorita durante la administración del presidente Donald Trump y cómo hemos visto que ICE ha arrestado, ha deportado bastante gente. So we have on Wednesday, we have that. I believe we have Joshua Morales out of Hidalgo County. I will try to see if he's available Thursday or Friday. So we have an interesting week lined up for you. So make sure you tune into Good Morning Brownsville. And again, make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. That way you can be in tune with what is going on in South Texas. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about an interesting story that transpired this past weekend. We titled our program, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be an Influencer/Podcaster. And that is how we will start today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville.
Aparte del amor y la pasión de la página, también muchas personas quizás no saben, esta no es tu primer página. Háblanos un poquito de eso, cuéntanos.
Sí, mira, hace 10 años, antes no existían las páginas, las fanpage, que lo que es Brownsville Online, no existían en Facebook. Únicamente existían los grupos.
Sí, yo me acuerdo. Y lo antes MySpace.
Sí, antes MySpace. Eran los grupos nada más y había un grupo muy famoso que se llamaba La Pulga Online de Brownsville.
¿Ese era tuyo?
Ese grupo yo lo hice hace 11 años ya casi creo. Y había un segundo grupo que también se llamaba igual, la Puebla en Broadway. Entonces éramos los dos grupos más grandes en aquel entonces, no recuerdo cuántos miembros había, porque era de miembros, no de followers como es ahora. Me parece que teníamos 180,000 miembros, no recuerdo.
Oh, wow.
Y,
Oh, wow.
y de ahí, si te contara más detalles, muchos negocios consolidados ahorita, en el 2025, surgieron de esos grupos. Entonces, llegó un tiempo que se empezó a saturar Facebook de muchos grupos y de muchas pulgas.
Ujú.
Entonces, yo quise hacer una diferencia y dije, ¿qué puedo hacer yo para diferenciarme de no ser una pulga más, no?
Claro.
Entonces, fue cuando hice la página de Brownsville Online en el 2018, donde también creé el logotipo con un poquito de reseñas de lo que es la ciudad, mostrando el centro, un poquito de todo, ¿no? Que es lo que conlleva el logotipo, que es como un sello, que es como lo quise hacer. Y sobre todo mostrar contenido orgánico, ¿no?
Yeah.
Con fotografías
Real.
reales, sin edición. Todo eso fue planeado. No fue por falta de equipo o nada, porque equipo tenemos, pero las redes sociales funcionan de esa manera, con contenido orgánico, y creo que fue parte del éxito. El logotipo y el contenido que empezamos a mostrarle a la gente.
Desde el inicio empezaste a exhibir nada más negocios. ¿Esa fue la visión o la visión fue evolucionando?
Lo que pasa es de que, regresando un poquito al
Cuéntanos, vamos, que nos cuente bien
Sí.
el chisme, si no.
As of late, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen how the power of social media and how it has had an impact within our community. And they have been many pages that have come up as of late. But I want to take you back during the COVID era. During COVID, ladies and gentlemen, there weren't that many pages that were up. If you can remember, the only one that was producing information that was on podcasts was Erasmo Castro. It wasn't after COVID. It wasn't until after COVID where individuals started seeing the importance of technology, how having a platform, a page, a social media page, how it could impact. Many people use it to sway. An influencer or podcaster, it plays many roles within a community. Their influence, it extends beyond content creation. They often act as connectors through leaders, and it could help amplify a culture or a certain conversation moving forward. And this is what we've seen as of late from the different Brownsville pages that we follow on social media. It seems as of late that now Brownsville Hood is the page to find out exactly what is going on in Brownsville, from car crashes to arrests to just about everything, ladies and gentlemen. And podcasts, they pages, they seem to have come up as of late because people have learned that there's a way to make money off of this. Now we're living in an era where digital information allows people to monetize. And there are many pages in the city of Brownsville: Brownsville Online, Brownsville Media, Brownsville Today. I could go on, Brownsville Hood. I could go on and on and on. And each platform serves its purpose to the community. I like to think of our platform, our program, to be a little bit different than everybody else. Many people ask me, how did you get into this? Do you have a communications major? Did you study journalism? Oh, I originally wanted to go to school to become a teacher and a coach. Thank God it didn't happen for me. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I was going to be in front of a camera and behind a microphone. It was because of my predecessor. I'm doing this because I want to have his legacy live on forever. Whenever they talk about Good Morning Brownsville, whenever they talk about Frankie Olivo, his name is always going to be mentioned. He's the nephew of Erasmo Castro. That is how I got into this. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be doing this. I don't like attention. For those that know me, I avoid it as much as possible. But you and I can agree that these social media platforms, they do have an impact within our community. Podcasters, influencers, however you want to call them, or us, they often dive deep into topics. They provide context. They provide expert interviews, personal insights. Influencers, they can simplify complex issues. They could introduce new products, services. If you haven't already, make sure you stop by with our friends at Human Being. Let them know that Frankie Olivo and Good Morning Brownsville sent you. And also, if you are looking to purchase a home, ladies and gentlemen, there is a possibility for you to apply for a program in which you will pay 0% down on the purchase of your home. We ask that you contact our friend Jorge Alanis. He could be reached at 956-877-8778. You see what I just did? Influencers could sway an idea. Influencers could promote products, businesses, or ideas. Podcasts, they shape public understanding and inform them of decision making. They could also be used as a community builder for many. They allow us to focus on wellness, depending on the niche. You know, some Brownsville Tech Live with Danny Salinas. He focuses on Starbase, on SpaceX, on all the launches. These platforms are often tight-knit online communities. They give a place for people to connect around shared interests, identities. Maybe you follow Good Morning Brownsville because we talk about politics. Again, we pride ourselves in having something very different compared to the other social media platforms. There is an idea that influencers, podcasters, they're able to transcend cultures, translations. They help interpret cultural trends. We make them relevant to our audience. We can be advocates to speak on social issues, political issues, environmental issues. We mobilize communities for social change. I want to bring you awareness. I want Good Morning Brownsville to be your source of information for everything that is happening in Cameron County, South Texas. We could possibly be entertainers. Some create pages for humor, for storytelling. They help us distract, disconnect, and enjoy life. Brownsville Online has been a social media platform that has been making waves as of late. They have a large following of 148,000 members. And what they have focused on has been an economic driver for the city of Brownsville. They have gone to businesses, taken pictures. They have influenced our decisions on where to eat, where to travel. They boost small businesses. They often help them, the businesses, get traffic. They shift economic value in this market. Essentially, what influencers, podcasters have become, they're not just broadcasters. No, now they have been becoming something else. They're active participants in shaping identity, culture, and connection within our community. Their reach and relevance, they depend on trust consistency, being authentic throughout the time. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we want to focus on Brownsville Online. And I want to start off by saying that our program is nothing personal. We pride ourselves in keeping our elected leaders accountable. That is what I think sets us apart from other pages on social media. We talk about politics. We talk about the backroom deals that the politicos have. They don't want you to know about, but we give you the insight into what nobody wants to talk about. Today, our focus, or the chatter as of late, has been Brownsville Online. And not for the reasons that I previously mentioned to you, but unfortunately for all the bad reasons. This past weekend, we had Alonso de la Torre, who is behind the page of Brownsville Online. He was arrested for possession of a controlled substance by the Texas Department of Transportation, DPS. He was booked into the Carrizales jail and was given a bond of $3,000. Now, while this isn't something unheard of, unfortunately, we have individuals that do partake in illicit substances. This isn't nothing new. Why are you talking about this, Frankie? Who cares? Everyone deserves a second or third chance. Aren't you going to talk about your arrest, Frankie? Us podcasters, influencers. I know my friends are going to make fun of me when I say, yo soy influencer, yo soy influencer. Tú no eres nadie, chingado. I like to think of myself as living in a glass house. I have spoken before previously about how we take shots at politicos. I have stated publicly, I have no friends in this game. I live a lonely life because at the end of the day, who wants to hang out with that guy who's taking shots at the politicos? We are well aware that for every rock that I throw, 100 are being thrown my way. I've learned to accept reality, and I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, that is the price one pays for taking shots at the politicos. I understand that if I ever get in trouble with the law once again, I will be crucified. I'll be vilified. Rightfully so. Whenever you enter into this world, into this sphere, as they say, all is fair in love, war, and politics, especially in Cameron County. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up, again, this happens to everybody, and I'm very supportive of individuals that have fallen. I am a big believer that individuals do deserve a second, third, fourth chance. We like to think that this is the society that we live in. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect. We all have our issues. Some individuals resort to the consumption of illicit substances, alcohol, sex, porn. I could go on and on. Everyone has a vice to deal with the realities of life. You and I know that. There's no going around that. But the reason why we're talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, is because the city of Brownsville, it seemed, gave this man a proclamation. Just last month, on July the 1st, Alonso de la Torre, behind Brownsville Online, posted, "Today I received a proclamation from the city of Brownsville, and I just want to say thank you to all of you who support and follow the Brownsville Online mission. This recognition wouldn't be possible without this amazing opportunity. Amazing community. From day one, the mission has been to support local businesses and show everything Brownsville has to offer: restaurants, parks, events, and more. Right now, more than ever, we need to stay together and support one another. I've made it my goal to always stay positive and to show the good things about our city because Brownsville has so much beauty and potential to offer. Big thank you to the city commissioners, Mayor John Cowan, City Manager Helen Ramirez, and everyone who helped make this happen. It's an honor to serve this city and to keep the movement going. Let's keep growing. Let's keep growing together. Now, this struck a nerve for me because whenever we get down to the nitty gritty, ladies and gentlemen, we have to ask ourselves, why was this individual given a proclamation? Now, I don't want to seem petty. As you all know, the realities of life is there's always competition. The Brownsville pages, they always want to be the first ones to post. And when we don't want other pages to steal our content, we'll watermark it. We want to get the credit. There is competition. I guess it's fair to say. I remember when I started this page, I was going on at 7 in the morning. I started Good Morning Brownsville at 7 in the morning. And I freaked out when I had 100 viewers. I was like, wow, 100 people are waking up to watch Good Morning Brownsville at 7 a.m. Wow. So people are essentially making their coffee. They're driving on their way to work. They're getting ready for work. They're taking their kids to school, but they're listening to Good Morning Brownsville. I was like ecstatic. Wow, this is awesome. I remember I posted my views, and people have been critical as of late. Good Morning Brownsville as of late has been making waves. We're getting watched by the thousands. And I'm forever grateful, Brownsville. I will never, ever let this go to my head. I have a great support team that anytime I think that I'm cool, they bring me down to my feet. But when I started the page, I would freak out. Wow, 100 people are watching Good Morning Brownsville at 7 a.m.? Wow, and I posted it. Hey, this is exciting for me. Well, Alonso de la Torre pretty much posted and he said, oh, those are nothing. You ain't jack. You ain't crap. Look at my views. Okay, I said. And look, we understand that individuals have issues, right? Again, some people are into alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, you name it. They're different vices, exercise. There's many vices out there. But does the city of Brownsville do background checks? Do they know who they're giving proclamations to? The reason why I state this is because this isn't the first time that this individual has been in trouble with the law. And again, I understand you're going to call me a hypocrite. Frankie, you've been in trouble with the law. Again, nobody's perfect. But the idea is that we learn from our mistakes. We move forward. And we promise never, ever to do it again. It was a great embarrassment for me, but more for my family. I stated I will never do something like this again. Never again. Now, this individual has a problem. And I'm not here to judge. I am no one to judge. This individual back in 2019 was charged with POCS, the same charge that he was arrested for this past weekend. This individual has a substance abuse problem. I'm going to get some flack for this, but I tell people, I tell them straight out, don't do drugs. Do not do drugs. But you have people that are still going to do them. So I say, okay, don't do drugs, but if you're going to do them at your house. Don't endanger people. Be smart. We have seen parents who have begged for their children not to drink and drive, and they say, okay, if you want to drink at home. That way I know you're safe. Maybe we've heard of cases like that. Maybe you were a parent that believes like that. And possibly that is the best. You're hoping for the best outcome. Why? Because at the end of the day, you want people to be safe, right? Now, again, why am I saying this? Who cares about this? Well, it seems as if the city of Brownsville is giving proclamations to just about everyone. There was a World Social Media Day that Mayor John Cowan and Commissioner Linda Macias approved the nomination of Brownsville Online. And again, I know what you're going to say, Frankie, you're just being jealous. You're being petty. Not so fast. When we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the proclamations that the city of Brownsville gives, let's take a look at what they asked for. It reads, the Brownsville City Commission is proud to reorganize. Oh, let me tag the city. I want them to see. I want them to see this. I'll be pissed off. Let me tag them. Hey, no, en vez de Frankie, no vale pa' pura. Beep, 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 beep. Let me tag them. Porque... I'll tag them afterwards. I can't tag them right now. Oh, I got a message. Who's messaging me? Oh, yes, I know. Okay, the City of Brownsville Commission is proud to recognize its community members through proclamations to honor, celebrate, or create awareness of an event, person, or organization. Proclamations requests should be submitted 14 days prior to the requested date. The City of Brownsville reserves the right to approve or decline the production of a proclamation request and to edit any drafted material for final wording. So essentially what they're doing is this one too. People were asking me, why don't you test the water? We did test the water. Don't you follow Good Morning Brownsville, chingo? Ay, raza. Instead of following us, they're following someone else. Chingados. But essentially what we find here is that the city of Brownsville gives proclamations to just about anyone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Frankie, you're being petty. This man is doing a great deed for the community. Well, I would make the argument that he's just doing his job. He wasn't doing this for free. You think he was doing this from the kindness of his heart? Now, there are people out there that don't charge to publish information, to publish services, to promote businesses. We don't charge people. We pride ourselves in promoting businesses, entrepreneurs, services free of charge. Tito with Brownsville Pulga, I believe he doesn't charge as well. But look at what this man was doing. And again, I'm not knocking the hustle. Work is work. If you're able to charge for marketing, for publicity, do it. But look at what this person was promoting. Pues depende del negocio, pero va desde 250 hasta 450, pero garantizado que todo mundo te ve. Se llenan los negocios ese mismo día. Ve el reach en los últimos 28 días. It goes on to read, it depends on the type of business, but it ranges from $250 and $400 to market, but guaranteed that the whole world will see and your business will be packed that same day. Look at the reach I've had in the last 28 days. This is from Brownsville Online, ladies and gentlemen, that he was sending out people. And he was prideful that his reach had 12 million people in the last 28 days. Again, I'm not knocking the hustle. If an individual is able to charge to market, by all means, do it. We got to get paid. by any means necessary. So the city of Brownsville was recognizing a page that essentially was a marketing firm. So you mean to tell me that the city of Brownsville gave a proclamation, gave a pat to the back to an individual that was making money off of his page? Yeah, he was promoting businesses, but at a cost? Really? So then we should promote every business, home health cares, nurses, insurance brokers. I want a proclamation, city of Brownsville. Why can't I have one? What bothers me is that the city commission and the mayor, they applaud this individual. Oh, he's making a great thing for the community. What about Erasmo Castro? Why did it take for a person such as Erasmo Castro to die in order for him to get a proclamation from the city of Brownsville? Maybe I'm biased because of my relationship to him. But for the past 15 years, he has made a positive impact in the city of Brownsville. Like him or not. Again, he had people who hated him and he had people who loved him. He was a black and white person. Interesting. Frankie, it's deeper than that. Why are bloggers making tens of thousands of dollars to leave the commissioners alone? Again, people get paid for hit pieces. They have a price, some 400, 500, and according to a former city commissioner who is possibly more experienced in this, maybe she's received, I don't know, threats. Hey, pay me a certain money. If not, I'll talk bad about you. That is the world that we live in. So what is the city of Brownsville doing, essentially? Why are they giving this man a proclamation? Why is he being recognized? He's got previous arrests. Again, no one's perfect. He deserves a second, third, fourth chance. But the city of Brownsville, did they do a background check on this man? Again, this man has a substance abuse problem. And look, I wish him well. My program today wasn't a hit piece on him, by no means. I hope he gets counseling. I hope he gets treatment. Because depending on substances is a mental issue. And it's hard for addicts to admit that they're wrong. The alcoholic is never going to admit that he has a problem. A person that does cocaine is never going to admit he has a problem. That's just reality. I wish Alonso de la Torre nothing but good. I want him to be better. I want him to keep producing and keep promoting the city of Brownsville. But he shouldn't have received that proclamation. He shouldn't have been recognized by the city of Brownsville. Essentially, what he was doing is he was doing his job. He was getting paid for doing his job. The city of Brownsville set a bad precedence moving forward because essentially Frankie Oliva was going to apply for a proclamation. I better get that fucking proclamation. You know I won't. But why? Why do they choose people, certain people, to applaud and say, yay? Because there's something more to that. How former city commissioner Tetreault has mentioned, Frankie, it's deeper than that. There's more that meets the eye. What we have seen as of late has been that Brownsville Online has collaborated, has joined forces with Studio X. Studio X is run by an individual, a business owner, an entrepreneur who is helping others become content creators. Now, before I bust their chops, bring me up. What I do, ladies and gentlemen, and look what I have here. I have a mic. I have a camera, and I have a green screen. What I do is essentially the services that they're offering Studio X. Again, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm not knocking the hustle. More power to them. But they're providing a service to to help you create content. That's cool. We need more content creators out there. Nothing wrong with that. But what's happening is that these individuals are trying to tap into and changing the narrative. Nothing wrong with that. I'm in the show. I'll contact you right now, Chingo. Studio X, partner of the Bronzo Online, Alonso de la Torre. And what have we seen as of late? That they were going to talk about what is happening in Brownsville. They want to focus on the airways because they have realized the power that a mic has. And this business, this studio, is located at the old Coca-Cola building that is currently owned by former Mayor Trey Mendez. Is Trey Mendez helping change the narrative? Also, what I'm going to look into and what others are going to help me look into is Studio X receiving money from BCIC? Are they receiving grants from the city of Brownsville? Because at the bottom here is Sweet & Company. Commissioner Pedrito Cardenas' wife's business, who received thousands of dollars of grants for rent that ultimately went to Trey Mendez. I think we're going to do another story on Trey Mendez on Monday, next Monday. He kind of called me out and said, "Oh man, you're a nobody. I never took a dime from the city." Oh, really? So we're going to be looking into to see if is Studio X receiving money, because we know Sweet & Company got money. We'll be working on that story for next Monday. But what have we seen? That Studio X is trying to change the narrative out there. Nothing wrong with that. Look who they had recently. They had El Perrero Rodriguez in charge of public health, former city commissioner. And we have Ramiro Gonzalez. Ramiro Gonzalez is a partner to Trey Mendez. They were caught with applying for $200,000 of grant money for the city of Brownsville. If it wasn't for Erasmo Castro, who called them out, they would have received this money. Taxpayer money. Here we have Alonso de la Torre and Studio X employees, representatives, who are helping the city promote health, transportation, blah, 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 blah. So there's something there. It seems as if the city of Brownsville is trying to tap into this page. Oh my goodness. Mande vuelo. I have to answer. Ok, no me traiga nada, está bien. No se preocupe, está bien, gracias. I gotta answer my grandfather. Where was I? I need an assistant to an assistant to an assistant, you know. The city of Brownsville, are they trying to tap into this page? Because again, the hardest thing, ladies and gentlemen, people ask me, how do you grow we pride ourselves on having a page of 40,000 people on Facebook, on 45 if we add our two Facebook pages. On YouTube, we're at 750. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube page titled Frankie Olivo TV, we could be found on this right here. But people ask me, how do you grow your page? It's difficult. It is the most difficult thing out there to grow organically, a page. So is the city of Brownsville trying to tap into a page of close to 150,000 followers? Why do you say this, Frankie? Well, because we saw how former city commissioner Ramiro Gonzalez, who was fired / resigned from the city of Brownsville once he got caught being a former city employee, purchasing a building, applying for a BCIC grant. And we have El Perrero Rodriguez or something in charge of public health for the city of Brownsville. Is the city of Brownsville trying to tap into Brownsville Online's 150,000 followers? Why do you say that, Frankie? Well, let's take a look at who's been on. Now we have two city commissioners, Rose Gowen and now Tino Villarreal. Now, did these people, I believe these are content creators. Maybe they are clients of Studio X, and maybe they asked, hey, can we have a Commissioner Tino Villarreal, do you mind appearing on our podcast? Tino Villarreal recently, or as of late, started a podcast. He can tell you himself, it's hard. It is difficult. Many people think, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a page. It's so easy. It's difficult. What I do before you is very difficult. Maybe I make it look easy, but it's not. Growing a page is difficult. Tino Villarreal has realized in a short quick of time that nobody watches his page. He has no traffic. He wants to make it seem as if this is the page where all of Brownsville, nobody goes. And I say this with all humility, people watch Good Morning Brownsville for good and bad reasons. We have great numbers, great viewership. So Tino Villarreal has realized that running a podcast is very difficult. So what? Is he tapping into the 150,000 subscribers, followers that Brownsville Online has? Why do you say that? Because it seems that way. Are they paying Studio X? Is Studio X receiving grant money for the city of Brownsville to push the narrative of the politicos? If they are, I have a big problem with this. Because I want a BCIC grant. I want money. I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I want a proclamation too. What else did we see? Well, we saw just this last week of how Mayor Cowan, who nominated Brownsville Online or put this on the agenda, and Tino Villarreal show up to an inauguration, which we're all in support of. But guess who was there as well? Brownsville Online. Pinkberry was a business that just opened up shop. There was another business of a young entrepreneur who was selling pet shells. Maybe this was at the same location, Frankie, and that's why Brownsville Online was there. But here we have again a city official, city commissioner. And who posted something? Brownsville Online. Something's funny is happening at the city. Something as funny is happening where they're trying to get into the podcast game. And again, I love competition. Come into my environment. See how difficult it is. And for those individuals that are interested in starting a podcast, don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on Studio X. Buy me a Whataburger. Number 2, plain jar with cheese, water size, Dr. Pepper Easy Ice, a medium chocolate shake. I'll tell you everything you need to know about running a podcast. I have a problem with the city of Brownsville giving a proclamation to an individual that has substance abuse issues. Again, I am not judging him. I wish him well. I wish he takes some time apart to evaluate his life, because getting charged with a POCS is a very serious crime. While it was only a $3,000 bond, he might have had a baggie. Maybe it was a vape pen. I don't know if it was base meth. I don't know. But the pattern that we've seen from this man has been he has a problem, and it continues. We wish him well. We hope that he lives a healthier life and makes better decisions. But we also wish that the city of Brownsville would recognize individuals that are truly making an impact within our community. This individual of Brownsville Online was getting paid for marketing. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I don't hate individuals trying to make a living. I really don't. I focus, ladies and gentlemen, I focus on promoting products, services, businesses free of charge. My friend says, pues tú de idiota no cobras, cabrón. Why? Because I want a better Brownsville. I don't want to be in that thing de que, hey, güey, pues te pagué 400 bolas, ir a mi negocio, no está, da, 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 da. Do you even know what you're talking about, galletas? Underage offense? I sent a dick pic to a woman, a grown woman. A dick pic on social media. Want to crucify me for that? Crucify me for that. Am I endangering people? Am I putting people's lives at risk? So we need to recognize that people make mistakes. If that's what you want, go ahead. But don't be recognized for the city of Brownsville for doing a job. Galletas. That's what bothers me. He wasn't doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He wasn't doing this because, oh, I love Brownsville. I want to promote Brownsville. He was getting paid. Again, nothing wrong with that. I'm all about the hustle. But let's not make it where he was doing this because Brownsville is near and dear to his heart. No, he was charging $250 to $450 to promote a business. So essentially, the city of Brownsville is setting bad precedents. One, because they're recognizing somebody who has a substance abuse issue. Again, we all make mistakes, Galleta. We all make mistakes. But the issue is, we learn from it. We move on. And we promise or pride ourselves in never, ever doing that mistake again. Mr. De La Torre, it seems as if hasn't learned from his mistakes. I wish him well. I really do. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a big disconnect that we have between our politicians and our community. What we have seen has been that they are trying to tap into the podcast game. They're trying to change the narrative. I invite each and every one of you. Brownsville Media, when are you going to come on our podcast, brother? Let's collab, man. I know you had a big page that went down. And now you're trying to get it back up. I think you're at 20,000. I'm a fan, bro. Let me know if there's any way that I can help you or help your page, help businesses along the way. Our platform is viewed by the thousands, man. And if there's any way that we can help out Brownsville Media, any businesses in Brownsville. Are you free Friday, bro? I'm busy tomorrow. I have an immigration attorney on Wednesday. I have Thursday, Joshua Morales, possibly. If you're free Friday, man, I'm free Friday at 9 a.m. If not, next week from Tuesday to Friday. Let me know. Reach out to me. Send me a message. My space is yours, brother. Thanks for posting. Again, there is a big disconnect between our community members and our elected officials and our community members. What they're trying to do is they're trying to change the narrative. They want to jump into this atmosphere that is the podcast game. I invite them to. It's not easy. What we pride ourselves on here at Good Morning Brownsville is keeping our elected leaders accountable. Our team has reached out to the city of Brownsville. They are looking into seeing if Studio X, which is owned by former Mayor Trey Mendez, if they're getting paid by BCIC taxpayer money. And essentially what they're doing is they're getting paid and they're giving the platform to the city officials. Interesting, huh? Count on Good Morning Brownsville to give you all the latest information. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. And that, my friends, is the story. When I grow up, I want to be an influencer. I want to be a podcaster. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace! Let me know, man. Let me know if you're free. My platform is yours, brother. My platform is yours. I've been keeping quiet for too long. He's a terrible person pretending to be good. The whole support Browns was all fake. Interesting. Happy Monday, guys. Peace.